GM, everybody. I know everyone is still filing in for today's weekly governance call. I'll give it a couple more minutes, but just wanted to acknowledge to everyone that we will be starting shortly with today's call, and hopefully everyone will enjoy. Okay, GM all, welcome to today's governance call, which is the 50th governance call that we've had so far in the ShapeShift DAO. And we are going to start right off with some appreciations. If this is anyone's first time on a governance call, we have a format that we follow. We talk about recent proposals, recent posts in our forum, discussions, conversations. We talk about anything that has to do with ShapeShift governance, upcoming, as well as a little recap of some past things. We give the opportunity for people that are willing to or have proposed things or are looking to propose things. We give them some stage time to discuss and talk about their proposals, as well as answer any questions that the crowd or the stage chat may have, as well as people that might want to raise their hands and join people on stage. But for the most part, we keep it moving pretty good. We don't really allow just everyone just to jump on stage. You have to be invited up. And sorry, just checking to see if there was anything said. So yeah, let's go ahead. We like to start off with appreciations that we within the DAO offer to others. And we like to definitely show appreciation for anybody and everybody that is willing to participate in our governance process. We understand that this is an endeavor that we all hope to see succeed, and participation is a big part of that. So we'd love to see individuals being able to put up proposals, express ideas, communicate. We always love communication about different ideas. Maybe not everyone agrees with everything, but we love to have worthwhile discussions and work through any type of impediments that we have towards any type of proposal or anything that we don't always see eye to eye on, but it's always best to talk it out. And I love to see that not only in the forum, but we also do it in a governance channel in Discord, proposal discussion in Discord, as well as there's many other places that we might find ourselves on calls, weekly calls and stuff that we can do this as well. So thank you, everyone. I will show appreciations for anyone and everyone that is willing to put in the time and the effort to read, understand, and communicate, and go back and forth within this process to help build our governance process in our DAO and strengthen all of the, the things that we're working to achieve. So thank you everyone for that. I will definitely offer that first. If anyone else has any appreciations they'd like to share, please feel free to raise your hand, or if you can jump up on stage, go right ahead. I'll wait a few seconds to see if anyone has any additional appreciations.
Appreciate you stepping up to facilitate governance today. Never was. And also appreciate you facilitating the beginning of the lunch AMA yesterday when we had a call run long.
Yeah, no problem, Willie. I can't put all the weight on your shoulders all the time. You definitely take a big brunt of it.
Well, I appreciate you. And yeah, I know Tyler's a tough shoes to fill as well, but I'm excited that you're getting the chance to facilitate a big call like this. Appreciate you, dude.
Thank you, Willie. Ocean, see you're up here.
Hey, never was. I just want to give a shout out and thanks to Adam for helping to get some of the new UTXO chains across the line in the middle of a bunch of life changes that he's got going on. And then similarly, just some appreciations to DeFi Cafe. There's been some great collaboration between the foundation and the engineering work stream on just trying to figure out how to best resource kind of the different goals between the two work streams per se. Obviously the foundation's very focused on parity between the old application and the engineering work stream is probably more focused on some new features, but we've been able to kind of collaborate really well across those two different charters and find the best way to knock those out. So I really appreciate that collaboration.
Awesome, definitely. I would echo to Adam as well for, DeFi always, but we work with DeFi every day on operations. But Adam, for his work and getting the UTXO stuff in there and really bringing it across the finish line, I think that gets us very close to a form of parity that we're looking to achieve with ThorChain and with other things that are coming across from beta. So yes, big thanks to everyone that put their efforts towards that. I know it probably wasn't just a singular effort. I'm sure a lot of work has been going on behind the scenes within engineering and the foundation and everywhere else within the DAO itself. So thank you to everyone to that. And wrapping up, if anyone else doesn't jump up, I'll wrap up the appreciations with just saying definitely am guest hosting today. Tyler is taking a vacation and asked if I would fill in for him. So I appreciate him putting that in my lap and allowing me to try to step up and not fill his shoes, but definitely step in and help out the DAO in this governance call today and next week as well. So thank you for that. And we have appreciation in the stage. Darwin has said Fox props to Decentralized J. He's doing a great job and the revenue model looks amazing. Definitely have been on a couple calls where we've kind of discussed that and the idea that Decentralized J put forward and his continuation in that. So I definitely see that Fox props and would also second that. So thank you, Decentralized J, and thank you, Darwin, for offering that prop to Decentralized J. Okay, I'll check back on the stage chat in a minute if there's any additional ones, but I will move on to the current proposals that we have. So we only have one proposal currently up on the Snapshot. And a side note, and I know Willie is aware of this and has probably been tirelessly working behind the scenes to get this resolved as well. Snapshot looks like it's having a little bit of problems across the board, and it's not calculating our Fox voting power in our wallets. I think it's not just Fox though. From talking to Willie, it's definitely like all of the different currencies and assets that's not calculating for the different DAOs and other things that are on Snapshots. So hopefully they get that resolved soon, but it does affect this current proposal that is up. It was put up, I believe, last night sometime. If you can see, It's SCP 94. This is renewing the operations work stream for a third term. And this is kind of a personal thing for myself on ops. We definitely believe that we would like to continue offering value to the DAO. So this proposal is looking to continue a new 6-month term of August 1st to January 31st of 2023. There's some back earlier proposals. The first 2 proposals are listed there if anyone would want to go back and kind of trace along the journey that has happened with operations. Obviously, Tyler had presented this, and he is proposing to continue on as the workstream leader. And he has stated, that we believe operations is an inaugural part of growth and development and the health for the DAO. So we definitely hope to see this to continue. And one last little quick tidbit that is listed there. There is a budgetary ask of $303,000, almost $304,000. This would be deducted from a balance that's currently rolling over within Colony. So the total ask was actually $330,000, but minus this $26,000 balance kind of brings it down a little bit more. So if anyone has any interest or concerns about the proposal, please feel free to vote once Snapshot is fixed. But also I would ask you dive in, read some of the numbers, look at the documents, get a better understanding of what the ask is for and what we're providing, and just have a informed vote for when you do choose to vote. But please do vote if you can. All right. Next, I know Tyler said just to keep this in here. We all have high hopes that Boardroom is coming back soon. I haven't received any updates on it, but I know that there is communication that goes back and forth in trying to get this achieved. Hopefully we get this soon, but also Willie Fox had some great alpha in the AMA on Wednesday of a possible a new possibility that might work itself out eventually that looked pretty interesting. So maybe we have options when it comes to this, but we will definitely try to see if we can work through this and get something up and running and for everybody. Okay, so we'll move on to new ideations. This actually just slipped in right before we went about an hour before before our scheduled call, after I had already posted in general of what our agenda looked like today. So I'm looking in the crowd to see if we do have the proposer here. I don't see him in here, so he might not have been able to join. But anyways, this is a proposal to request for funding for video post-production. This was already a post. I believe it was SRP 82. It had a majority yes vote. It just didn't meet quorum. At this point, they wanted to revisit and repost the proposal and see if they could hit quorum for the the little bit of funding that they're asking for to finish up some post-production and get us some additional materials that can be used for marketing and all sorts of different activities within the DAO promotion. So please take a look at this new proposal that just went into ideation, SCP 96. And as always, your vote matters. So, we had a majority looking to get this passed last time. I think it was 86% or something like that. Were positive and in favor of it, but it just never met quorum, and therefore it couldn't actually be passed. So they're looking to try to get over that quorum threshold this time and make this happen. So if anyone has any interest in helping out there, or if they disagree with what it entails, please take your time to go on the forum and vote in the poll that's there. But also, most importantly, leave some feedback. Allow the proposer to, address any questions or concerns and give them the opportunity to voice their belief in how this could be beneficial. Okay, so that is a new ideation. We have some new drafts that actually were recent in the last week or so that came available for us here. So I will call up these individuals if they're in the crowd and if they'd like to speak on it. I don't see Mr. Perkland. So Ocean, if you want to jump up and kind of explain the reasoning and why you see the benefit of proposing the SCP modifying ideation polling. Definitely this fits into some of the conversation we had about boardroom and being that this has been absent for quite some time within our governance process. And you bring up some great points about, how on the forum, it doesn't actually require anyone to hold Fox. Anyone can sign up an account and basically vote, friends, family, anyone, there's definitely a loophole there. So go ahead, Ocean. I will let you talk about that.
Awesome. As I was coming up, I just realized that Amadeus also had his hand raised to come up. So I just wanted to give Amadeus a second to, if he wanted to say anything about his proposal.
Yes, sorry, I missed it and didn't see it. So I'm new here. Go ahead.
No problem. You had just mentioned the SCP-96, and I'm the one that posted that. But let Ocean go for it since you're on this topic now.
Okay, I'll be quick. So I wasn't here when this all originally took place, but I guess we originally had a plan to use Boardroom for the ideation phase of our governance process, which would allow us to use their polling features in a way that still inferred one Fox as one vote and mimicked very much what the final step in our governance process is with snapshot voting. With Boardroom being, seems perpetually down or not working for us, we've been using forum polling as a way to signal before we go to the final snapshot vote in our governance process. And I think that was fine for a short period of time, but there's several potential issues with it that could really derail the DAO's governance process and don't represent the sentiment of token holders the same way that our snapshot votes do. As never was mentioned, maliciously or otherwise, theoretically, someone could sign up for a bunch of forum accounts and block any proposal from going to a formal vote with Snapshot if someone wanted to, which is obviously not an ideal state. And more so than that, I think we very much so need to stick to the one Fox, one vote mentality that has been instilled in the DAO from the very beginning. So for all those reasons, I think we should move forward with a really simple solution, which is that we just use Snapshot for both votes. We would just append an ideation tag to the titles of votes that are for ideation, and then for the final vote that would just be removed. So each proposal basically would have two snapshot votes. Each successful proposal, I guess, would have two snapshot votes. We don't have to do any additional work. It adds a little bit of complexity when creating a proposal, but we now have the ability to exactly mimic the final vote in the ideation phase. So that's kind of the motivation behind all this, is just making so our process is a little bit more streamlined, and happy to answer any questions on anything that's related to that or entertain other solutions if people have it.
Oh, first I'd say thank you, Ocean, for putting this up so quickly. I know you just had gotten back from a trip yourself and you were able to get this to the forum very quickly. Love that people are, look to the forum and look to, new ideas and concepts. So thank you for participating in that way. One question I have just personally from looking it over, Ocean, is on Snapshot, when you do a proposal, you do have to put up a certain amount of Fox, correct, to actually enable the snapshot?
I think it's 100 Fox. It's very low.
Yep.
But that's still it's still the case if you were to create a proposal that's going to go to Snapshot. So it's, again, no different than the final step. It's just making that gate happen sooner in the process.
Right. Yeah, no, I was just curious because I wasn't sure if Boardroom, when we had it working, if there was a deposit, and I could be wrong. I didn't do an actual proposal during that time in Boardroom, so I was just curious if that would be a difference to the older process that was existing previously.
Got it. Just to be clear, it's not a deposit. It's just simply a check that your wallet has at least 100 bucks in it. So there's no spending. It's just simply an on-chain check.
Perfect. Thank you for clearing that up. Appreciate it. Anyone else have any questions? Let me check the stage chat to see. There you go. Yep, Willie Fox was clearing that up as well. Thank you. No other questions. Ocean, you can feel free to hang out if you want, but I'll definitely go back, and I apologize for missing when I was
Thanks,
talking about the SCP-96. I'll give you the opportunity to go ahead and talk about this a little bit more and expand upon the post you just put on the forum. GM,
and thanks so much, Never Was. So we were contracted by the ShapeShift team at ETH Denver to create a handful of videos. We filmed several of their talks, including Willie's and Josh's and Danielle's. And then we edited all those videos. And then in addition, we made several videos from interviews we did with several members of the team. And those have all been delivered. But the ShapeShift team was so cool with giving us so much time during ETH Denver that we were able to get a bunch of videos that they kind of had hoped of, like talking with Willie, kind of like, well, what type of videos do you guys want? And then he essentially answered those, we created those content on the spot, but it ended up being a bit outside of the scope of the original proposal we had. So now we have a whole bunch of footage left that's from ETH Denver, but not necessarily about ETH Denver. They're pretty wide-ranging topics that cover, I think, a lot about the DAO and about the future of ShapeShift. And so, yeah, we're just really excited to hopefully be able to create the rest of these videos for you guys. The proposal consists of 12 main YouTube videos, and our production, we used all 4K cinema cameras that are all color corrected and matched. And we had multiple cameras for each interview. So it's really high production quality that we tried to achieve with this. And out of the first 12 videos, they're a mix of people talking on stage and personal interviews, and we're really blending those together to tell a story. And then in addition, we have 12 videos for social media that are a bit shorter and more targeted per topic. So I think we have a really wide-ranging kind of media package that we want to deliver, and just excited. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Oh,
yeah,
one
awesome.
last thing.
Yep,
we
go
also
ahead.
have some video examples in that proposal, so you can see the work that we've already done for ShapeShift. And then in addition, we made one of the videos that's outlined in this proposal already that I think turned out really awesome on the decentralization for ShapeShift's future. And you can check that out as well.
Awesome. Sounds great. And one thing I did notice that I believe the community should definitely realize and appreciate is that the ask is also Fox or USDC. You modified it a little bit, so understanding the treasury and any future concerns that we might have about market trending down or whatever, you did modify this and say that your organization would be willing to accept Fox as payment as well as USDC.
Yeah, correct. And like you'd mentioned before, that the first time we posted this, we had over 88% approval. It just didn't meet the final amount. And with that, hopefully we can just get it passed again. I think the timing of the last one was just right when it was just the worst week in this downturn. So I think that kind of just didn't really get the turnout because of the blood in the streets that week.
Definitely plays a role. One thing, and I know you've been very involved and a part of DAO activities and talking to individuals within the DAO and stuff. And I know you have Gray Machine and Willie and a couple others that really have see the value as well as many others that can see the potential for this. One good thing that staying like active on the forums, which you have been doing, and answering the questions, as well as possibly posting in the proposal channel in Discord or something like that, can help to kind of keep interest involved and keep eyes on this. And hopefully, when it does get to be available for a vote on Snapshot, we do get the interaction with the community, and people do come out to vote and voice themselves and their participation, because this is like you said, this was already almost there. It just didn't meet quorum, and we just need to get this over the line, get this situated, and allow you guys to continue forward in your day-to-day operations as well.
Yeah, thanks so much for the tips.
And no worries. Have a great day. I appreciate you finding the time to come up here again out of your day and talk to us today.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, so that was pretty much all of the newer ideation things that we have going on in the forum. Please, as always, feel free to go on the forum and talk about these things and open up discussions and ask questions. It only works if we have people that are willing to ask the questions and provide the answers and communicate these ideas across the board. So let's get that piece over with and make this happen for everyone. We have some old ideation things that some people might have already come up and talked about a couple times and might not want to rehash over or go. Sorry, hit too many buttons there. I had spoken to a couple people, and they said that they pretty much have their next agenda items that they're going to work on, so they don't feel the need to come back up on stage and talk about it anymore. But it's always available to those who want to. Let's see, do I see Professor McCarthy? Yes, I do. I'm going to send you an invite out just in case, Professor, if you want to come up and speak on your proposal of SCP-93, request for additional allocation of Fox tokens to the TMDC. If you want to come up, feel free. And I know I spoke to Pasagos, and he said that he has some things that he's going to do with breaking his proposal up into a couple different items and then proposing those separately. So he didn't feel the need to rehash over that proposal that had much discussion in the past over. And go ahead, Professor McCarthy, GM. How are you today?
Good, man. How you doing?
Just trying to stand up here on stage and not look like a fool.
You're doing an excellent job, my friend.
Thank you.
So yeah, SCP-93 had a little bit of spirited discussion here in terms of talking about our RARI loans, talking about the analysis that we've done, and kind of our strategy right now in terms of paying $50,000 per week going forward, just to kind of make sure that the APR stays low on those loans. We're hoping that that's going to come back online. We are not counting on it by any means. And hindsight's 2020, and everything is clearer in retrospect. And we made the best decisions we could at the time, and I still stand by those decisions. And so we're going to move this up to a vote, probably within the next day. Just wanted to have a couple of extra TNBC sessions just to make sure if anybody wanted to kind of come in and have some mano a mano or mono a five discussions about things. Feel free to. So we invite anybody to come in and discuss whatever qualms or whatever reservations they might have in terms of going forward with this. But ultimately, yeah, we're happy that there's been discussion, and happy that we're getting votes either way. So
Sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Professor. I know it takes some effort to put these proposals together, and you definitely spent some time and thought and putting this together for everyone to read. So I do hope, as I've mentioned a couple times, it does take time out of your day. I understand that a lot of people might not find the time immediately to look and read over these things, but the proposers do take a lot of time and effort putting together, spreadsheets and data, and making sure that the vocabulary and the content is put together for people to read. So it is always respectful, if you can find the time and take the time to read that, and if you have questions and don't understand it, I'm sure all these proposers are willing and able to try to answer your questions best that they can. So yes, thank you. Thanks again, Professor.
We're doing the best that we can for the DAO, and I feel like everybody's coming at these things with that spirit. So I just want to give everybody props for that, and just kind of keep encouraging that conversation to continue. And like you said, any kind of questions or whatever, we are more than happy to answer and provide all the explanation that we can. Sometimes it's not going to be 100% what everybody wants, but it is kind of like I said, I stand by the decisions that we made, and we made the best decisions at the time. So
yep,
thank you.
Definitely, thank you, Professor McCarthy. And one thing I think we all have to understand in a community and an organization like this, which is looking to be global and looking to be inclusive to people around the world, compromise is a big part of any discussion. And I think during governance and during these proposals and all of these ideas that are proposed, the vision might be something that you see very clearly, but not everyone else can see that as clearly as you. Everyone has to understand that everyone has their own thoughts and ideas and different situations. So finding compromise and having those discussions to where compromise works is always a better solution than thinking that your way or no way is the path forward. So, we work on, like you said, with what we have, the information in front of ourselves. So the better that we can have understanding and make these decisions going forward, the better chance it is of succeeding or, making something successful going forward. So it's always a good thing.
Exactly. And like Willie says, let's have the best day ever.
There you go.
All right, thanks
Awesome.
so much, Nicholas. You're killing it. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Professor. I appreciate it. We have one more older ideation thing. This is something I actually had proposed and I had time to talk about in previous governance calls. So only thing I would say to this, if there aren't any direct questions, is that I did do a revision to the draft. I took some input from individuals that were kind enough to reach out and communicate their thoughts, either in the forum or in other places on a governance call or another call. I did revise the draft, added some additional examples. As stated, there are examples. They're not like the only option. These are just starting points for discussion with data, so that people can kind of look at 3 different approaches to how the DAO or us as a community and as contributors would find it palatable for compensation. And so I would ask if you have any interest in this or feel that maybe you didn't get the best understanding in the first version, to revisit this and spend a little time in rereading it and maybe getting a better understanding, and then please ask more questions. As stated, these are just possibilities. I'm not here, and I doubt very many of us are here to basically say, we know how to make everything better for everyone and everyone involved. So I do enjoy the conversation point. I do enjoy people's thoughts and look forward to people questioning, what if we did this instead of that, which are all valid points. So please, if you can, take another look at it. And if you have any questions, ask. Let's see. What else do we have? I'm going to check the stage chat real quick because I'm notoriously bad at doing that. Okay. We have PTT having some discussion there. And we have Professor McCarthy talking about that. So love that. And I see John is here. Always welcome and always great to have. So he's inputting on there. Great. So I'll let that discussion continue. And I will move on to the next slide here, which is new posts. And let me see if I see Megan in the audience. I hope so. I hope it didn't get too late in the day. Yep, I do see her. I'm going to invite Megan up. Megan has a new, she can come up. There she goes. Megan has a very interesting post, and it's very personal and relevant at this time. So I would definitely like her to speak on it. But what does maternity leave look like in a DAO? This is something I think is an important discussion. So I will turn it over to you, Meg. GM, great to see you as always, and hope that you're not too uncomfortable. I know you're you're getting ready to take your leave soon, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Yeah, what a convenient topic for someone like me to be bringing up maternity leave and how that could work or potentially work in a DAO. So for those of you who haven't read the post, I encourage you to do so. I basically kind of put together a few thoughts around some recommendations. It's not necessarily a post to move into a proposal. I'm actually going to be out very soon. So I'm not in a position to kind of see through a formal proposal process at this point, but I did want to get the discussion going. And then we'll kind of pick up where I left off, or I obviously am not the sole person who controls maternity leave. It's just obviously a significant topic in my life right now, and also just feels timely at the current stage that we're at a DAO, as a DAO. And I also want to just make a mental note for everyone that this discussion also applies to other types of leaves and just other types of human experiences that are going to happen along the way as we continue this path into a new organizational structure. So the conversation is not limited to just maternity or paternity leave. There's other things like medical leave. There's discussions like bereavement and just special circumstances. I know it can be hard to fathom at times, but man, everybody's life is so different. Everybody's path is so different. And it's something as a manager and a leader that I'm very familiar with after managing for quite some time now. But I know other people who might be in newer leadership positions coming into a organizational structure like a DAO, which doesn't have all of this preset, HR. I'm over here doing the bunny ear air quotes, HR stuff. It's important to keep that in mind, that a lot of human experience is still happening no matter what. And, recognizing we're living in a very interesting time, but I'm sure we could say that about every period or decade of life. But the past few years have been very interesting for a lot of people. But yeah, check it out. Overall, just a little TLDR. My recommendation to start out is a 4-month paid maternity leave, and then a month and a half for paternity leave, and holding the person's job for them. There's a couple drawbacks and nuances to the discussion that do need to be acknowledged. And if you look at my post, you'll see I address some of those, like how do you even go about proving that you're on maternity leave when I haven't seen any of your faces before. I mean, some of you that I've worked with in the past, but never was. I wouldn't know. I mean, obviously you aren't having a baby or anything, but I wouldn't. How do you even have that conversation? It kind of a sensitive topic, and at what point do you breach anonymity within a DAO? Is this something that should be work stream specific, or should it be, a blanketed recommendation across the entire DAO? What if your maternity leave starts on the last month of your proposal? How does that factor in for the following months? So just a few nuances to the discussion and things that we have to keep in mind as we're piecing together a way to manage this. So definitely take a look at the forum. If you have any other holes that you want to point out in the discussion that's already taking place at that forum post, please join in, and I'll be seeing you all in a couple of months, and we can hopefully continue the conversation, or hopefully it continues even without me. So thank you.
Definitely. Thank you, CryptoMeg, for bringing this up. I know, like you said, it's very pertinent for a lot of reasons. I think one of the things that we have to come to the realization that probably a lot of us already have within the DAO, if we're looking to be a global organization, there's some far-reaching aspects that might not always pertain to localized in organizations, and I think that this conversation is a piece of that, globalization type of discussion where you have people working around the world within the DAO, and we hopefully extend our arms and our our hopes that they more would join us. So we definitely want to make this in an environment that's approachable and accessible, as well as standards that maybe we are accustomed to aren't standards that everyone else is accustomed to. So like you said, starting these conversations and getting this started, and communicating the different thoughts and ideas on this is a very important thing, not only with something like this, which has far impact and reaching extent throughout many personal lives, but also just in a lot of conversations. So we just we have to get these conversations started. So thank you very much, Meg, for taking the time out before you do go on leave, and I'm sure that you have a million things happening as you prepare yourself for this and prepare your spirit and your mind and your body and everything else, and your family to extend this and grow your family, for taking the time out and focusing in your moments here in the DAO and trying to get these conversations started. So thank you.
Definitely well said. Never was. Thank you for the time.
Anytime, that. All right. Well, thank you, Meg. Please, everyone, take a look at that. I know everyone might not feel that this impacts you now currently in your lives, but really no one knows what the future holds for themselves. Today you might not have a need or see the importance of something like this, but circumstances can change very quickly, and you might find yourself in a situation where you are now, basically on the other end of this and trying to figure this out. So this conversation, it does have pertinence. It might not seem like it in your immediate, but one of the things that most of you will hear me say very frequently, let's look past the immediate and let's look in the near term and in the future the best we can, and try to prepare ourselves. I mean, while we might not have everything exactly right, we should take the time and the effort to at least acknowledge things and try to work towards things and get things started and work towards that, versus waiting for the last moment and then, God forbid, here you are dealing with a situation that you don't have an option. So let's look towards the options. We have an old post. Moving on. I know Tyler is not here to talk about this. obviously. But there was an all Fox frequency poll that I think has been pretty much settled at this point. It was within the last 7 days, so technically it falls in the preview of this governance call. But I think for the most part, it was settled that we would look to probably do these on a smaller, a slower schedule, and hold the all foxes only a couple times, a period. So, I mean, the polls kind of were indicators of that, and I believe when Tyler gets back, he might move forward on that. But at this moment, I think he's just going to allow that to be out there while he's trying to enjoy his time away from the DAO. So feel free, if you haven't already, if you have any thoughts on that or want to be a part of that poll and voice your thoughts or anything towards that. I'm sure it'll be taken into account when time permits and when people are back. So your voice matters once again. Okay, so I will now to the section of discussing anything about the governance process, any questions, Q&A about anyone might have about our process currently. Obviously, there's a proposal there to talk about a little bit more about ideation and trying to implement, a way, a more secure way of tracking and ensuring that there's no type of gaming of the system. So that is definitely very relevant to the government process that we currently have. The governance process currently have. One of the reasons why I'm probably up here is because I have been pretty vocal when it comes to governance and willing to take on some of the discussions and conversations around these things. So, I definitely can see and have some thoughts towards different proposals that might be changing or adapting our governance process, whether it's ideation or snapshot or anything along the way. So I will probably try to take some time and ask questions if I have any on the proposal that was proposed recently by Ocean about snapshot, and but I'll definitely do it in a public space on the forum and give him the opportunity to respond, as well as anything else. Don't see any questions in the stage chat right now. Let's see, so I guess we're probably gonna wrap it up. There's always some slides at the end of the governance slides, which I will post once I'm done, that kind of talk about the DAO governance process and stuff. So if you have any questions, you can always take a look at the slide deck after the fact, as well as on the forum. There's some good posts that were initially put in there talking about the governance process, the DAO itself, and how we're looking to try to achieve all these different ideas. Hey, Willie, go ahead. How's it going? You hop back up.
Hey, what's up, Never Was? Yes, I have a development on Snapshot. So
Ooh, great.
Snapshot voting, for some reason right now, once you actually cast your vote, it will be calculated correctly, the voting power. It's just in that confirmation modal. It shows you that you have 0 voting power, but I just cast a vote and it did successfully add to the overall vote score.
Okay, so maybe it's a UI UX thing where it's just not showing correctly.
Yeah, it appears just to be a UI bug on that one step. So pretty confusing, and hopefully we can get that UI bug sorted out. But for everyone on the call, know that if you do cast a vote, it will actually take effect.
Awesome. Thank you, Willie. Really appreciate that, because that was one thing that I was keeping an eye on myself as well. Before I cast a vote, I wasn't sure, but I'll definitely take that into account and cast my votes. Yeah, definitely. And as always, as stated earlier, to vote within the governance process, to vote on Snapshot, it does not cost anything to vote. It just tallies up, your current Fox holdings, currently on the 1-to-1 ratio, and it'll then, ask you for confirmation and, take the snapshot of when your wallet had that Fox Holdings, as long as it was before the proposal actually went to Snapshot, and it'll be accounted for in the voting process. So always feel free to express yourself through your Fox Holdings and vote for the things that you believe in or don't believe in. Okay, everyone. We're a little early today. I might